All right, man, let's go and get into this video because apparently Scottie Pippen got in front of a microphone and start talking a bunch of phony baloney.
I know it's not a comfortable thing to probably talk about, but did any of that happen where someone was saying, come on, Scottie, Michael would have never won 6 without you. Come on, Scottie. And Michael said it himself, but from your standpoint.
You know, the reason why I say stuff like that is because when you play the game the way that I played it, you play on both ends. Why can't I say that?
Oh, that's okay. You can say that.
So
no one's saying you can't say that.
Yeah, and say it and mean it.
Oh, so you
know
do
what
believe that?
I'm saying, yeah. Look at the stats. I got 6 rings too. Look at my accolades. I got defensive player, all NBA. So playing the game the right way and winning means something to me, and it meant a lot to me. I don't have the MVPs, but guess what? Somebody that was with me got it.
Would you say?
I didn't have the final MVP. But hey, we won the championship.
I get that, but that could be to say you.
Well, here's my thing is before the 90s,
mm-hmm.
I had never in my life heard anything about a GOAT in basketball.
Oh, okay, Scottie. Okay, Scott. Why ain't nobody talking about this portion of the other podcast? Because what he's saying is true. I don't know why everybody skated over this. Maybe y'all didn't actually take the time out to watch the whole podcast. It's very interesting to me that many of you all decided to just cut this part of y'all reacting to this. But Scottie cooking, right? He's talking about, receiving the proper amount of credit and how so much is given to Jordan, how he's being deemed as a GOAT. But as he said, bro, before the 90s, nobody was having that conversation. And this is not the first person I've ever heard say this. I've heard this from older people in my own personal life. I've heard this from NBA players, ex-NBA players that existed back in the 80s, 70s, and 60s. They've all said the idea of being called the GOAT only existed during the 90s with Jordan. That's the only time it ever existed. Why is that the case? Very interesting. I find it also very interesting that everybody decided to not talk about this portion of the podcast. I know it gets worse. I know.
I never heard anyone say, who's the greatest player in the NBA?
Scottie.
Before the 90s. Who was that got in? If you had heard that, who was that guy?
Patrick Bet-Davis is not a real NBA fan, so he wouldn't be able to answer this question. The answer, based off of the newfound logic that people like to put out there, would be Kareem or maybe Bill. However, depending on who you talk to, some people say it's Bird, Magic. It's a bunch of other different names.
I would say there's a strong argument at that time for Wilt being the greatest of all time, because the Lakers hadn't yet gone on their dominant, destroyed its opponents.
So why is he not mentioned now? Why is he not? I don't even hear about him now.
I mentioned.
And also, why, if Wilt was deemed as the greatest back then, if you can allow Wilt to be the greatest back then, and why wouldn't you be able to allow LeBron to be the greatest right now? Because Wilt back then had a losing record in the finals. Y'all criticize LeBron. Wilt had a losing record. So why would Wilt come to your first name? Immediately when you talk about Wilt, you talk about dominating his competitors and putting up the numbers. Nothing about winning, but now all of a sudden it's about winning in a team sport. That makes no sense to me. But again, Patrick Bet-Davis, he doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to sports. He has no idea what he's referring to at all. Zero, zilch, nada. He doesn't know the history of the game.
Well, I mean, you're talking about the guy that has...
he got 13 rings.
Well, no, he didn't get 13 rings. Russell got... you're talking about Russell.
I mean, Russell, yeah.
I'm talking Wilt. Russell got the 11 and the 2 additional ones. Yeah, 13 rings. There's a difference because we can say Ori got 7. Ori's not in the discussion of all time. Ori wasn't the face of the team, and Ori...
So what's the credentials to be that guy?
To be the greatest of all time?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a great conversation. I'm curious to know what you say. I'm a fan. I'll give you my opinion, but I want to hear from you.
I don't think it exists in team sports. I don't think it exists in team sports.
Brother, I don't know, bro. I don't know. We having a real grown-up conversation right now. I don't know. Sound like y'all really not really ready to have this debate. I don't know why is this part of the podcast not being talked about. I know he gets a little nasty later on. He really does. But why is it not? It's a very interesting topic.
No, then do all time. I'm sorry, do all time.
Do all time. Then I'm going to pick my era.
Okay.
I'm going to pick the team that won 6 titles.
Who's your number 1 draft pick? Player.
I'm going to pick Michael.
Okay. Who's your 2?
I'm going to pick me.
I agree. Who's your 3? To put a team that wins, who's your 3?
I'm going to pick Dennis or Horace Grant, whichever era.
I see what you're doing. I see. Okay, so let's just say Dennis is 3. Who's your 4?
Don't matter. Give me anybody. I'll take you.
So let me get this straight. So your mindset is you, Michael, and Dennis will beat any team that anybody puts together.
We did it for 3 years. No, I did it with Horace the first time. But yeah, me and Michael did it
That's
for
right.
6.
That's right. That's fair enough. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's why I said Dennis or Horace. Okay, but if you're, and I want to qualify this because to me, that could still be a safe space answer because you're still saying that I'm picking us against anyone anybody else. Right.
Yeah, it's a very safe, very, very safe. Because what Scottie would have to acknowledge is that A, not only did he pick Jordan number 1, but B, everything is still surrounded this idea that he has to play a very unique and specific style of basketball in a very specific role in a very specific era of basketball for it to function the way that he's referencing. So that's very, very safe. But the question continues to get a little bit more interesting.
I'm picking the greatest team against anybody.
Yeah, but when you say you're the greatest of all time in the GOAT debate, that's still saying that you're ahead of Michael. So your position is still in the game of NBA, you're the greatest of all time all around.
I'm speaking from a team standpoint.
Would you put yourself ahead of LeBron?
As a team standpoint.
Would you put yourself ahead of LeBron as a team standpoint?
My success as a team is more successful than LeBron. I got 6 rings.
Okay, so then if I talk to an NBA owner, by the way, this is very helpful because realize this is very helpful because for me as a fan, I've followed this. So if I speak from an NBA standpoint, owner, and I want to find an all-around player to be my number 1, you think the average owner is going to pick you or LeBron?
I don't know.
Oh, Scottie, you know. Nigga, you know. Come on. You know. They're not going your way. Again, your success is contingent with you playing alongside Jordan, which is why when he asked you about, if you're going to build a team, that's why you said Jordan number 1. Even in your answer, you knew your role. It was behind the number 1. You knew it. You know your role. You knew it was Jordan, then you, then Dennis or Horace Grant. You know the pecking order. You know it. LeBron would fall under the umbrella of 1. He would be the 1. You're saying it yourself.
Got it. Okay. So that.
You want individual accolades or you want championships? Because I didn't chase mine.
Okay. And that's an argument that LeBron went to Miami. He went back to Cleveland to win with Kyrie, and then he went back to LA to win with Anthony Davis. Michael never had teammates like that, and you had Michael as a teammate. But in this specific context, Scottie, I think this is.
Damn, that was a crazy slight to sit here and say that this nigga Scottie Pippen wasn't on the tier of Kyrie, Wade, or AD. That's a bit of a slight there, which I think Scottie's better than Kyrie. Depending on which version of Wade you're referring to, that's a bit of a slight. And also, I would go as far as to argue because how often AD's been injured, you might be able to say Pitt might have been a better number 2 than even AD just due to availability. But damn, that's a slight right there.
It's very important because I'm really trying to understand your position. Is specific with you against Michael. You're still saying Michael's the greatest of all time, but maybe you're saying you're the greatest teammate of all time. Would that be a better way of qualifying it?
I would say if you want to say it that way, but again, team sports to me, there's no GOAT. There's great teams. But as an individual, you got to go to individual sports.
Yeah, I think, okay, so maybe, the fact that I asked you to draft, who would you pick as number 1? Just by you saying Michael 1,
I looked
you
at
too.
this era.
Right.
But if you ask me to pick a team, NBA, then I'm going to pick my era and my team. That's the most dominant team that's played in the game. Yeah. There's no team that's done what the Bulls done.
You picked Michael ahead of you, though. So that, in essence, you're saying Michael's the greatest of all time.
Well, he's older than me, so he would have been in the game.
Oh, no, Scottie, no. He's right, bro. When you picked him ahead of you, by default, you are acknowledging where you place in a hierarchy of that team. You knew it was Michael 1. Not no age shit, my nigga. You picked it that way because you knew what it was. Matter of fact, who's older between you and Rodman? Scottie Pippen is 59. Rodman is 63. So Rodman is actually older than you, and you put Rodman 3rd. So age ain't got nothing to do with it. You know where y'all land, and you know your role is behind Jordan. Just like you know you're not in the same hierarchy of LeBron. You know you're not. So you can't even deny this shit. You can't deny it. You can't deny it.
It's not even worth talking about.
The two of them.
When you ask who's better, LeBron or Michael, you can't ask me who's the GOAT between LeBron and Michael. Neither one of them are GOATs. They both won differently. You can't put them at the top of the pinnacle. Magic Johnson, to me, is a bigger GOAT than anybody because of how he led, how he brought a whole team, how when the greatest scorer in the game, Kareem, was not there, and him as a rookie
center
steps in and plays a position that no one even knew he could play.
Bro, what in the fuck are you, Scottie Pippen? Oh my God. Oh my goodness. It's the fact that every single time we had this conversation with Scottie, he answers it differently every single time. Bro, I remember vividly a couple of years ago, he was, oh yeah, LeBron's better than Jordan. Oh yeah, for sure. He's a better all-around player. Oh yeah, for sure. Then it was, I would never, ever pick LeBron over Jordan. My own teammate, me, Jordan, I mean, the guy I won 6 rings with, Jordan. Now all of a sudden it's not even really a debate between the two, because I would really pick Magic. But also, there is no such thing as a GOAT. But now my criteria for if there is a GOAT is how you lead. But why would you not then just pick Bill Russell? Because he led those teams to more success. Nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about, bro? What are you discussing? Why are you yapping right now, bro? You are just yapping. You've been yapping about this same talking point for like 7, 8, 9, 10 years now. We get it, bro. We get it. Niggas may have forgotten you. They left you in the dust. They don't give you enough credit. But my God, bro, every single time we had this talk, bro, this nigga gives a different answer every single time. Every time.
You said one time when you had a conversation with Michael about when he went to the Rockets and Barkley was a teammate and he said something to you. He says, I probably should have listened to Michael a year ago when he said that Charles will never win a championship because he doesn't show any dedication. He's a very selfish guy. He said all this stuff to you, right? That's my reason for wanting to get away from playing with him because he just doesn't show the dedication. Those are tough words to be said from Michael to a friend that is Charles. Looking back now and having the wisdom that you have today, you had a lot of everybody wanted you. You could have gone anywhere. Anybody and everybody wanted you. What would have been a different situation? What do you look at where you said?
Well, I'm gonna be honest that my options weren't that great.
Really?
Because of the way that the CBA was set up.
Got it.
And
who did you have as options?
Well, I had Phoenix, but it was for less money.
Got it.
I think Philadelphia didn't want to go play in a cold climate.
Who did Philly have at that time? Was it AI? Was it still AI? Or was it? Yeah, it was AI.
Yeah.
Because it was tail end, so it would have been AI.
Yeah.
They had, well, he had the Kimba Mutombo, I think. I don't know if he had left already.
I showed no interest. I definitely wanted to be in a warm climate. And I saw Houston as an opportunity for me really to play with 2 veteran guys and that we could, make something happen real quick. And it was the lockout season, but it was definitely a short-lived. In fact, Charles started out working out with me and he was all dedicated and working out me and him with Grover. I took Grover down there and he lasted about a month.
Was it because what? It's just a little too much with Grover?
No, it wasn't too much for Grover. It was too much for him.
No, that's what I'm saying. To go with Grover, it's a little too much for Charles.
He wanted to enjoy his nightlife, and our workouts were predicated on getting up in the morning and training before practice.
Okay, Scottie really, he's slipping the beans on this one, the tea all over the table on this one right here. Scottie, if you really thought you were that guy, if you really thought you was one of them, why didn't you go to a team so you can lead the team? If there was ever going to be a question where you were going to go and who you were going to be, why not go to a situation where you could be that guy? You went right back to another situation. You were going to be second to someone else in Hakeem because that's the role that you were comfortable in. That's who you always have been and always will be. Secondly, I always find it funny when people criticize players in today's game about, oh, you're just doing it for the money. Scottie immediately said, oh yeah, there wasn't that many options out there because of new CBA and I was trying to get a bag, basically. That's basically what he said. Now on to Barkley. I also just find it hilarious to me because the person who criticizes today's athletes the most on TV, maybe not the most, let me take that back, but someone who does is Barkley. And the things he says about players is very funny to me because a lot of that stuff is applicable to Barkley. Not taking the game serious, not being dedicated, not being in shape. These are all things that Barkley himself has openly admitted or his teammates have now admitted now with Pippen. You can also see it in his game. You can see it in how he adjusted as time progressed throughout the late 90s, how he never was in shape, how he never could stay healthy, but he's now having a bunch of things to say about what's going on in today's game. Yet for whatever reason, a lot of things that people criticize in today's game is applicable to what was going on back then as well. Now, I know Scottie ain't gonna tell himself about the things that he was doing, but Scottie also, this level of dedication that you love to just talk about, the year before the 99 lockout season, in 97, 98, you decided decided to wait to get a surgery before the season began because you were trying to hold out on doing what? Getting more money. I find it all very interesting. See, these are parts of the 90s that they love to avoid talking about, but there were several players back in the 90s, mid to late 90s, matter of fact, all throughout the 90s that did things for financial incentives, who did not take the game serious at all, but decided they wanted to make some moves to try to win, but still not taking it serious. Players who were doing things on and off the floor, like Shaq was out there trying to play basketball, but still be a rapper, still be a movie star when he made his way to LA. These are all things that have been happening for decades now, but they love to just act as if like it doesn't happen. The irony of it all is that in this exact same podcast, in the beginning, you got Patrick Bet-David talking about, oh man, back in the day, man, y'all really gave a damn. Y'all cared so much. It wasn't about money. You out there and played hard. By the end of the same podcast, now we're talking about why Scottie Pippen picked a certain location because of money. Anybody who knows anything about Scottie Pippen, he was beefing with the Bulls all throughout the 90s because of the money. How now Barkley didn't take things serious. But in the beginning, it was y'all took everything so serious back then. Y'all were so dedicated. Barkley wasn't. This podcast here, I mean, boy, was it hard to watch, because not only do you have Scottie Pippen over here lying again about who he was as a player, where he ranks. Now all of a sudden he don't believe that there is or isn't a GOAT and no such thing, but if there is a GOAT, then I'm gonna say Magic Johnson, even though for the past 6, 7, 10 years I've been saying Michael, then LeBron, then Michael. Now all of a sudden it's Magic, but it's really not a GOAT because it's a team sport, but now it's a team sport, but there's still a GOAT there. I mean, this GOAT right here, he led his team in a rookie and playing in the center position. That's why he the GOAT. He's a leader. Very interesting conversation here. Scottie Pippen, you got to make up your mind about who you think is a GOAT and how you feel about it and the importance of team, but still claiming that someone is a GOAT. And Patrick Bet-Davis, please let this be the last person you ever interview that is in any close proximity of Michael Jordan. Because if you continue to do so, you're going to have to wipe the semen off your lips. Hey, that's the video. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Scottie Pippen, boy, what another one. Another one you gave us right here. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And until next time, we'll see you all later. Peace.